Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin, New York City. Brand new film coming out called American Sniper. I'm one of the stars of the film, the lovely and talented Sienna Miller. I was telling you before, I didn't even recognize you when I first saw you. I guess that is the highest compliment one can pay an actor.
That is absolutely...
Obviously, you're playing a woman that really existed. Do you want to use what her physicality is as a template, or how do you start creating her as yourself?
I think you start with the kind of idiosyncrasies that make her who she is. So the way she walks, the way she talks, the mannerisms. And then once you feel like you've understood those, you try and let them go. Otherwise it becomes some sort of caricature in it. I don't think it would feel real. But she was someone that I spent an awful lot of time with, and she was incredibly open and wonderful to be around. And thank you.
Is there a mannerism of hers that you picked up? Just a little gesture or something that if you see the movie you go, oh, that might be.
I can't even remember specifically. It's more the way that she moves. She's quite, you know, she's tough. She's got physically, she's got a kind of resilience that I felt when I met her, and I wanted to somehow get that in. And I think in the bar scene, which is the opening scene, you know, there's something physically about her which I hope I captured. I feel like I did in that moment.
And when you see this movie, this is a woman you don't screw around with, because she'll tell you exactly what she thinks. While this might on the surface seem like a war movie, it's really not that. It's really about the after effects of what happens when you train somebody to do a job. How do you then desensitize them to that skill set that we've given them? And I was wondering, what insights did you get having gone through this? You saw it from the wife's perspective.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I think there is within Navy SEALs, they are trained to do their job, and their job is they're trained to save American lives, to protect Americans. It's thorough, it's rigorous. I think being the woman on the receiving end of being married to somebody like that is really complicated, really complex, to not know whether your husband will survive and to feel constantly like that's the priority. But they managed to make it work, this couple, and I think that's so beautiful.
Now, you are obviously the mother of a beautiful child, I'm presuming, but in this movie you play pregnant as well.
Yes.
How different of an experience is it to wear the fake pregnancy thing? Is there a psychological thing? Did you start going, wait a minute, I'm getting those feelings again?
I totally got the feelings. It's so weird. And I also started to walk. I'd stand all day. I remember being pregnant and rocking from side to side all the time. And I remember being on set and being like holding this bump, and Clint, Eastwood director, he used to come up and go, morning fatty, and rub my bump, and it was so funny. But I did, you kind of, all the things that you do, I totally sense memoried the whole thing, and it all came flooding back, although a lot less uncomfortable, the fake bump than the real bump at that late stage of pregnancy.
But the real bump, the long-lasting effect. Just a last question for you. You mentioned Clint Eastwood. Having had the pleasure of being on one or two of his sets and watching the man work, he's quick, he's efficient.
Yes.
As an actor, does that make you be more on your game immediately? Or because you don't have the luxury of 20, 30, 40 takes?
You know that with him you have to bring it on take one, and you have to be very prepared. Also, you have to know that you're in the greatest hands. He's not completely dogmatic where he's going to move on if he hasn't got it, but there is something that he inspires in you, which means that you are very honest and very real, and you do just arrive with your performance. And he's a master of cinema. He's a master storyteller. I feel so honored to have been able to work with him.
Well, I am honored to be able to have this interview with you, as always, Sienna. Thank you so much. Awesome actress. And this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.